Good morning, everybody. This is Real Estate Talk TGIF episode 242. That is 239 weeks in a row. We are so excited today because we have an old friend, a new friend, and just a simple badass in the real estate industry, Lucy Quiñones from Fort Myers, Florida. And we're going to get into your story and your life in just 1 minute. Everybody, welcome to Real Estate Talk TGIF 242. We'll see you in a sec. Real estate agents, are you looking to acquire clients consistently to grow your business and income for a great lifestyle? Well, this is Dave Finale, and I'm here to bring you the Real Estate Skill Builder broadcast, Real Estate Talk TGIF, brought to you by Real Estate Skill Builder and the Modern Agent team. Well, welcome everybody. Don't know what happened to my video. Hold on 1 second. What happened to my video? And I'm not there. Do you see me or no?
No, I don't. Hi, Dave. Thanks. No, I don't see you. I see me. Where did you go? We lost Dave. Anyway, guys, hi, I'm Lucy Quiñones, and I am Dave's guest here on Real Estate Talk TGI. Where did Dave go? But hey, we're going to continue. And so he should be back any moment now. There he is.
There I am. You know, what's funny is I've always been known to know technology very, very well over the years. And for some reason with this broadcast and the little buttons I got to push here and there, I sometimes push the wrong buttons. I have no idea why.
That's
but
okay.
Anyway, here we are. It's Real Estate Talk TGIF episode 242. And we have Coach Lucy Q here. I mean, this is Lucy Quiñones, who is the CEO of Q International Experts Network, a former Century 21 agent, broker, now is with another great company called EXP, and is just going from, just helping so many people. And Lucy, this is just so cool to have you on. Instead of me trying to talk about everything, I want you to talk about your past and your journey. But before we do that, I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
What does TGIF stand for, Lucy?
I'm going to guess thank God it's Friday.
You are so very close, Lucy, but sorry, not right. The answer is thank God it's finale. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. And you're with most of the people that do not get it. Some people that have been on here twice still don't get it. So my good friend Travis Tom last week, his second appearance, he forgot it. So that's okay. You're in great company, right? So anyway, Lucy, you have been in the real estate business for a good amount of time, and you've been able to take what you're doing to help many, many people and to expand it to places like Colombia. So yes. Tell us your story as to how you got to where you are and what you're up to and all of that. Just go through that with us, please.
So my elevator bio is I was born in Medellin, Colombia, came to the United States at the very young age of 1.5 years. Fast forward, grew up in Brooklyn, New York. So hello to all my Brooklyn and my New York friends and family. Grew up there, came to Florida. Fast forward, got into real estate out of desperation in the year 2000. Life gifted me with an amazing broker who had been part of the Century 21 brand since 1981. Fast forward, I was with him for 20 years until the day he went almost to heaven, right? But there came a moment when I had to fly off on my own, and he was rooting me all the way. And so after being an agent, a team leader, the first Latin American team in Lee County in my area in the year 2001, becoming a broker manager, becoming a broker owner alongside him, running my own Century 21 franchise. I wanted more. And so the time came for me to transition, and I went with a new model of real estate, but I opened up a real estate academy. I opened up multiple companies, and then I flew off to put boots on the ground in Latin America, starting with my native country of Colombia. And I did that for a whole year. Working boots on the ground since October of 2020, all last year, 2022. And now I'm back here in my city of beautiful Cape Coral, Fort Myers area, ready to grow and just take off in so many new directions.
Well, I'll tell you what, you and I ran into each other about a year ago, maybe more, at an event. And we rekindled our old friendship because we met each other in the old Century 21 days. And, we just knew of each other. I think we weren't really friends back then. And since then, we've been able to really, talk a lot. And we've been trying to get you on this broadcast for a long time. And here we are. So,
Yes.
so talk to me about, you've gone through a lot of different things. You've had career struggles. You've been through, you've been with a system that, you had a great broker, you had a great mentor, right? And then when kind of things go away, it kind of creates some problems and issues, and you had to become that other person. Talk to me about that transition from starting to now.
So from starting when I transitioned and I left my mentor broker partner, or from the very beginning? Because I actually
from then when you started to go on your own and your own brokerage and from forward there.
Yes. So I mean that was a my goodness, that was a defining moment for me because I lost my identity. I lost my way. I didn't even know which way I was going to end up going, but I knew I had to continue forward.
Right.
You lose everything you've known familiar to you for 20 years, including the person that was always there for you. And now you find yourself having to rediscover, redefine, and reinvent yourself. And that was not only scary, it was emotionally draining, it was stressful, it was uncertain. But you know what? Those are the moments where there's this inner power that rises up, and somehow you just build the ruthless determination.
Yeah.
And like my mentor partner used to say, he was my only broker I ever knew in my life. I mean, agents go from one company to the other, and I never experienced that. So he used to say, Lucy, no matter what, you have to have stick-to-itiveness. You have to stick to it no matter what. And that's what I did. And that happened in 2020. Then, we all know what happened in 2020. So on top of everything else, I get hit with the pandemic.
Right.
And then on top of everything else, in 2021, just when I thought I was going to, come out of all this hell I was going through, COVID hit me and I faced death, and I ended up in solitary confinement for 15 days.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like what else could go wrong? What else? But just like the Phoenix, I rose up literally from the ashes, because when I left that hospital, I was stuck to an oxygen machine, and I was flat. I mean, I was like flat out. That's it. The little bit that I had left in me got totally knocked out of me.
Well, obviously, you've done a great job coming out of that. But what was the thing that got you going when you were just completely knocked out and at almost, let's call it ground zero to a point?
Yes, it was literally ground zero. I remember in one of those days, I think it was 10 days after, because in my mind, I checked out. The way that I face death and the uncertainty of ever coming out of that hospital was, I checked out mentally because I didn't want to crumble emotionally. So I just checked out. So it was somewhere after 10 days of being there. I remember this little voice inside of me said, you're going to come out. I've been trying to get your attention. You have not stopped. You caused this. You burnt yourself out. Just trust what's going to happen. And it was very definite. It was a voice that said, you've been doing things right, but I have a better way. And you just have to let go and trust. And that's what I did.
So I want to, I really, and I mean, a lot of people are saying, okay, you had that voice, you had this, you had that. And for me personally, I look at that kind of thing and that voice is really my inner self telling me, you're better than you think you are, right? So talk to me about how that realization came about. Was it in a position or in a place of being depressed? Was it in a position or a place where you said, "What do I do now?" and it came to you? Because this is not bullshit. This is not funny. This is serious because I understand exactly what you're talking about. So if you can be a little bit more specific on how it comes, because I want to help as many people as I possibly can, and the way to do that is to just, we're sharing your experience, but I want to share that specific experience if we can, if that's all right with you.
So it was exactly me laid up in the hospital with a huge mask blowing oxygen into my face because my lungs were not working. I was at a 50 saturation. If they stopped it, my oxygen would go down to literally I could go into cardiac arrest. And it was me just totally being defenseless. Like there was nothing I could do. And I just surrendered. So yes, when you say, okay, so some people say that voice, that's probably you. Yeah, we are the voice. We are the voice.
Right.
There's something inside of us that is bigger than we even know ourselves to be. So yes, we are the voice. To me, that voice, which is my voice, was inspired by my creator, right? I'm a believer. So
I agree.
My creator put that voice inside of me and spoke to me through that voice. And I listened to it. And it was very simple. It was, listen, you've been doing things right, but there's a better way. Because we get into the rat race. We get into wanting to make it happen. We get into our thoughts. And we have to reach sometimes. Here's for me, Dave. I had to reach my end to find my new beginning. And that's what happened when I got out of that hospital. I knew I'm alive by a miracle because so many people in 2021 were not leaving the hospital. And now I know without a shadow of a doubt, life had to bring me to my end so that I can find my new beginning.
What's really interesting about that is that there's a lot of people out there that are always looking for that shiny object, that silver bullet. There's got to be a better way. They're doing things in a certain way that really should work, but they let themselves get distracted. They let themselves think, well, I don't want to do that. Instead of saying I don't, and basically what they say is I don't have time to do that. That means they don't want to. Mm-hmm. And this mindset takes them over as time goes on. And as the mindset takes them over, just like an illness took you over, it's one is concrete and the other is water. So one is malleable and moving around all the time and can be formed. The concrete is solid, which was what you were in. When I'm talking about the mind, it's a funny thing, right? We don't know why things don't work for us.
Mm-hmm.
We only know it that they don't.
Right.
And in your case, it was like, crap. Your body and your mind probably said, what the hell am I going to do now? Look where I'm at. I had all these hopes and dreams. Yes. And now look where I am.
Yes.
And then at that point, your mind said to you, and God said to you, stop the bitching and moaning. You're okay. You just got to start from scratch now. That's all. And when I say that, the way I look at it is this. If you just decide that you're going to do something, that is the start of life. Now, why do I say this and how am I saying it? I'm saying it from my own personal experience of knowing that I now know that I need to work on one thing. I cannot be all over the place. And if it doesn't serve that one thing, I'm not doing it. Now, you could say that everything I do serves people that I'm helping, but I can help everyone, but only one person at a time sometimes. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes, we have to have clarity in what we're doing. And I think that that's what happened. So not only when I transitioned from my former, you know, business model and franchise and it was getting out of the comfort zone and that security blanket that I had been in for 20 years that began a journey that really put me under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress,
Right.
put me under a lot of uncertainty. As humans, we want to feel we're in control. So I had not learned a lot of things that I've learned since then. Because when you face death 3 times, literally, like, I can't breathe, like, I don't know what's going to happen, and you have people rushing into the room to find out if you're coding, and you're like, you have to go, it brings you to the end of you where you're like, you know what? I need to get my priorities straight. There's more to life than stressing. There's more to life than me trying to make it happen. Let me get on the right course so that I can start living and not just existing. Because at the end of the day, we're going to leave without anything that we create here anyway.
Yep.
There's no burials with U-Haul trucks.
No. And you know what? What's left on the list is still going to be left on that list.
Yeah. And oh my God, yes. Let me tell you, I had so many meetings that week. That next day, I had things that were supposed to be started the next day. I had my first conference with EXP that I had bought everything for. I'm literally laying in that bed and I'm like, this is what would have happened had I died. But thank God I'm here. So everything stopped, but I had a chance to still be here.
See, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't look at when they're going through the rat race and running themselves ragged. I mean, look, being concentrating, having grit and hitting the grind and working your ass off and being fucking tired at the end of the day is okay.
Yes.
Health is the most important thing. It's like, a lot of people, one of the things, I have a set ritual that I do every morning, and I write what I'm grateful for, and I write my affirmations and stuff. And one thing hit me really hard at an event you and I were at a few weeks ago, where my long time coach and friend John Cheplack said, you all write gratitudes. Who does that? And everybody raised their hand. And then he said, you say you're grateful for your health. Well, let's get a mirror, take your clothes off, and tell me how grateful you are for your health. When I heard that, I said, shit, I'm writing all this crap down. I got to make sure I mean everything I say and that I'm attacking everything I'm doing. Because whether I write that crap or not, anybody ever looks at it again, I don't know, nor do I care. But what I care is I'm writing it for myself, for others. And when you do that, and when you write that stuff down, and when you work your butt off to achieve it, that's just going to be for you, and nobody else is going to care at the end of the day. However, it's the matter of how many people you help along the way.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
I was there when he said that. The part that resonated with me was, you all have gratitude lists, burn them, because you're not grateful. Gratitude is a verb. Show me what you're doing with that you're saying you're grateful for.
Right.
And so here's one thing that I learned, Dave, and it came at another time. These were moments in my in and out of being there, because they told me that I would go to ICU, and I said, I'm not going to ICU. I'm leaving this place. So that was the first thing that I knew. My mind was strong. My heart was strong physically, but I had burned myself out.
Yep.
So the other thing that I learned was that I was living from a place of what I did. What I did was what gave me identity. See, I had lost my identity. It was Lucy Quiñones from Century 21 for 20 years. I was one of the people that would, if I cut my wrist, I would bleed gold. I was there in this bubble for 20 years, and I learned so much. I learned everything that I now know, but I had never been on my own to really utilize it. So the one thing that I realized, Dave, and a lot of people are doing it even today, because I was doing it, and we have to be careful of it, was I was living from a place of what I did gave me my identity, gave me my worth, gave me my value. It made me feel somebody, what I did. And at another moment, I heard this voice,
Right.
This thought say, you don't have to live from what you do anymore. I want you to learn how to live from who you are. It's because of who you are that you're going to be the great whatever it is you're going to be great at. And that was a paradigm shift. But I had to be at my end to hear it.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, the word end means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. To me, it was a choice. It wasn't there. It was a choice of, do I stop what I'm doing and just find something else to do? Do I stop what I'm doing and become a real estate agent, which has been like decades? And then a conversation with my coach, the light bulb went off. I got pissed at him. He got pissed at me. The next day, the path was clear. It just like happened. And as time went on, I had to realize that the one thing is really the most important. And then also a gentleman sitting near us at that same event, the gentleman had lost 52 pounds in 4 months. I went up and had a conversation with him.
Jason.
And if you have his contact number, I'd like the information. I like that. I don't have his name.
Okay.
But I asked him what the secret was to what he did. Not that I was looking for workout stuff or all that stuff. I wanted to know what his mindset was. And he said, I do one thing and I do one thing at a time. And when I do one thing, I do one thing. I don't do anything else. I don't let anything else get in my way. I'm doing that one thing. When I finish that one thing, I go to the next one thing.
Actually, his name is Josh. I don't know why I always call him Jason. I swear. His name is Josh Pride.
Well, I'll get that information from you later. Anyway, so, but see, that's what it is. So let's talk about Lucy Quiñones and what you're doing in the world of real estate. And you started training and stuff years ago, and it was a gift to you, leading people into production. Talk to me about that transition of going from an agent basically into that, and where it's led you to today.
So it all began in 2005 when I opened up my own Century 21 franchise, right, with my broker who became my partner. And I was running a very prosperous, real estate team, the Lucy Quiñones and Company team. So we were doing $12 million in production, tons of money. And I enjoyed the production. And my mentor says, you got to stop competing against your agents now that you're a broker manager. And I'm like, what? So how am I supposed to make money? Yeah. I'm like, I can't stop selling. He says, if you want to be a good broker, and he was Sicilian, so he was tough. Listen to me. He would say, listen to me. If you want to be a good broker, you can't be one of those brokers that competes. And so that's when it began. But I was in 2005. I mean, we were making money, hand over fist. Everything was great. I was on top of the world. I thought I was.
I remember those days.
Yeah, I was ready to change my name to Lucy Trump. I mean, I'm like making all this money. Oh my gosh, I was so happy. And I remember the end of 2006, he says, better get ready because the market's about to, go down. I'm like, that can't happen. Oh my gosh, come on, Joe, that'll never happen. Look how much we're selling. Look how good we're doing. Well, the thing was that my company did continue to sell because I focused on international. I focused on the Hispanic market. They were coming from Miami and all parts of the world and whatever. Fast forward 2008, my elevator just collapsed. And now I'm caught in the middle of it because now it really hit everybody, right? And I thought in my ignorance, I just went through success coaching certification, and there's the first level of the comprehension cycle and the model of learning that is unconscious incompetence. So I was like really unconsciously incompetence in my mind. This could never happen. But now that it happened, it was going to be over in a week or two. It'll be over in a month. It'll be over in, this is going to change next, in 3 months from now. Fast forward 4 years, by the grace of God, and because he got me into property management, he says, you got to open up your property management. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't have time to learn anything. He forced me, you have to. And I did it. That saved me, right? Because nobody was buying anything. There was nobody giving money. I survived, but in 2012, life started to give me life gives us signals. We just don't listen.
Yeah.
Life gives us signals. I started having to learn how to recruit because now I had to rebuild my office. I went from 125 agents to 19, and
Cool.
only and 19 agents out of 125, and 18 of them were not producing. So
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh my gosh. So agents here and there started coming to me and they started saying, why don't you train us? Why don't you train us? You're using so-and-so, because I was using the traditional model. You take one of the agents and you put them to train. But they started coming to me. Why don't you show us what you did? So supposedly I was going to do this 90-day PX90 of power production. That's what I called it. PX90 of power production with Lucy Quiñones. I was going to do it for 90 days and that was it. It was done. It was over. I was finished. And at the end of that, my partner came and said, you can't stop doing this, right? I'm like, what do you mean I can't? Of course I can stop doing this. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm too busy. He said, look at your production. My office got into the rankings again. I started climbing. I entered at 40. I got all the way to the top 10. And it was all because I started doing the things I didn't want to do.
That worked out well then, huh?
Yes. The PX90 worked out well.
That's amazing. I mean, if anybody remembers what PX90 was, or it's still around.
Yeah.
Right? So talk to me about your transition from PX90, Lucy Quiñones training, to where you are today with, you're an international business coach. You're a real estate badass in, the Fort Myers community, as well as in Colombia, and how you put it all together. As you said, from Colombia to the world. Talk to me about how that started. I believe it started a long time ago. You've just been able to work it and build it, right?
Yes. So when I opened up my office, I needed to come up with a vision, right? So the first thing we did was call it Century 21 Birchwood International. Birchwood because that was the home-based company of my broker, International, because now we're working this together.
Right.
And the vision was to become the #1 international office in Southwest Florida, working with buyers and sellers and serving them with excellence, diligence, and integrity. So that started in 2005, that vision. 2006, I show up to a Century 21 convention in Las Vegas. And guess what? Century 21 had opened up in Colombia. I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, here we go. Fast forward, I dared to jump on a plane, travel to Bogota. Now, mind you, I came to the US when I was 1.5 years. I've never lived in Colombia.
Right.
I was born there and I've gone there every year since I was born, but I never lived there. One thing is to visit, another thing is to live there. Went to Bogota, jumped on a taxi, had the taxi take me from every Century 21 office, one after the other, introducing myself in person, building relationships and telling these brokers just out of inspiration that I wanted to build a strategic alliance with them. And I was from the United States and and it worked. We started doing business together. When the market crashed, forget about the vision. International, are you kidding me? I'm trying to survive locally. Forget about international.
Right.
But then it was in 2013, the end of 2013, because I totally forgot about that vision. Forget it. I mean, I didn't even know where my board was with the vision. I remember I was sitting at my desk and this thought hit me. You need to go back to what you wanted to do. So I started calling in 2014. It was February of 2014. I started reaching out to the headquarters for Century 21 in Colombia. They had since then changed presidents. headquarters had changed the president.
Yep.
They had no clue who the heck I was. Luckily, 2 staff members were still there and they remembered me. And that opened the next chapter where I started traveling, training their brokers, their managers, because now I knew how to recruit. Now I knew how to train. Now I knew how to grow the company because I had survived the worst market crash. So now I knew something I could teach.
So talk to me. Okay. So we had really a funny discussion the other day about the differences between real estate agents in another country, specifically Colombia, and how they think that, well, it's different here and than in the United States or in Fort Myers or whatever. Talk to me about that conversation and what it's all about.
It's funny because it happens to all of us. We always think the grass is greener on the other side. So in Latin America, Colombia particularly, and now what I've learned is that whatever works in Colombia will work anywhere else in Latin America. Whatever happens in Colombia is happening everywhere else in Latin America. So Colombia to me has become the boot camp, the location, the field where I'm learning all the stuff that I know I can take to the rest of Latin America. So when I started going there in 2015, 16, 17, 18, the broker owners, the broker managers would say, but you know what? The problem we have here is our agents, they don't want to prospect. It's not like in the United States that everybody prospects. And I would laugh. The problem here is our agents, they don't want to come to the office. It's not like in the United States where people go to the office. And I would laugh. The problem here is that our agents want all the commission. It's not like in the United States. And I would laugh. And and the last one. The problem here is that our agents always complain about the leads. They say our leads are no good. It's not like in the United States. And I would laugh.
So talk to me about the next part of the conversation.
And I would say, my agents say exactly the same thing. And then I found that, hey, their agents are human. Our agents here are human. This is a human issue. This is not, an agent issue. This is not a country issue. This is not a continent issue. And then I remember I met John Cheplack at the Century 21 Washington, D.C. Global Conference in 2015. And I connected with his hard, raw, real, rugged ways, the way he just talks it like it is. And I remember he started teaching on human behavior. Right. And I said, you know what? That's it. Colombia thinks that the US is perfect, but these people are dealing with exactly the same issues that I have at my office and every other broker has at their office. And so that opened the door for me to start teaching them how I was dealing with those same issues here, because now I was learning from John Cheplack. And I remember, fast forward, it was in 2017. I was speaking with my broker partner, mentor, everything. He was he was everything, right? He was a person I would fight with, talk with, consult with. And in 2017, he said to me, you know what, Lucy? This is not the same real estate industry I got into. These are not the same agents I met. These are not the same people. He said, you need to go follow John Cheplack because I can't teach you anything else. I don't even know what to do. And that's when it hit me. I said, oh my God, if this man that has been doing real estate for 40 years doesn't know what to do, I'm finding myself in a new generation of real estate. And that's when I saw the change begin in our industry, starting with the agents.
Yeah, that is when it started. It started back then, and it was actually the time. It was bad timing for me because that's when I left and walked away from my brokers because I had. So here's the thing, right? So I had a bunch of agents where you had, typical office in Century 21 or any brokerages. You've got a couple really, really good agents. You got a couple okay agents, and you got a bunch that are and then you got people that don't do anything. And my problem was that I was kind of fed up with the ones that would come in, spend time, and they wouldn't do anything that, they say they want to help, they won't do it. They don't want to do the work. That was the majority of the agents in the industry. They wanted it to come to them. They thought they were working by referral if a past client referred them somebody, and they were actually doing business by accident. And I said, you know what? This is not for me any longer. I can't take the stress. I couldn't do it. So I walked the hell away. And fast forward to today, what I've realized is that those 5 years were the formative years of what business is today. And it's completely different than it was back then. And this is the other thing that I've noticed, Lucy, is that those Century 21 offices, the ERAs, all of them, Remaxes, guess what? They're stuck in the 90s. They're stuck in the early 2000s because they're not doing it. And this is from personal conversations over just the last week. I walked into an office of somebody I know, and I felt like I went back 10, 15 years.
They're in a time warp.
Damn straight.
They're in a time warp.
And what you've been able to do is you took the thought and idea of what you had, in 05, 06, and you translated into, shit, I'm a worker. I'm going to do this work. And you know what? You kind of went in, correct me if I'm wrong, you kind of went in with a hope and a prayer that the agents would follow. And when you found they did, you were like, holy shit, this is going to be great.
So here's what happened. When I transitioned from Century 21, it was on top of everything else. I'm going to tell you a little secret that a lot of people don't know. When you open up an office, a brokerage, and you have a lead person, the biggest fear is when that person leaves, they're going to take all the agents with them.
Yep.
So in 2017, my friend, broker, partner asked me for let me tell you, it was the biggest favor he could have ever asked me for that I almost did not do. And the only reason I did it was out of, honestly, gratitude, because I was like, you know what? What if he would have never helped me when I didn't know? What if he would have never given me the time to grow and learn? Right. What if he would have not done for me what he's done? Yes, I did the hard lifting, pushing, work, but he was still there. It was only because of that I did it. And it was consolidating my own franchise with his, because after the market crash, his never recuperated. But here I was now recruiting, growing, back in the rankings, and moving forward fast. And I consolidated the office. Well, in my unconscious incompetence, I thought I was going to do that for 2 years. After 2 years, I was going to leave. I never realized that if I left, it would collapse again. Because when you have a lead person leave, what happens to the company? It collapses.
Right.
Fast forward to 2020. The biggest decision was, because I always told him, when we part ways, or when that time comes, if I'm not able to be your successor for whatever reason, because that was the plan. The plan was that I was going to be his successor, which made perfect common sense.
Yep.
Century 21 and anybody that has ever been in a brokerage said, find your successor so that you can continue. He did not have the support of his family. And so if you don't have the support of your family, you're done. And I told him, I said, I'm out. I'm tapping. I'm out. Give me your hand. I'm tapping. I'm out. And it took us almost a year before he tapped back. When he tapped back, I had to make the decision to walk away quietly, sell my interests the way we had intended to, and leave everything behind just so that I would not sabotage the company. That was the hardest part.
Wow. And you started from zero.
And I started from zero. Yes. Just because that was, I said, if I will not, because that was his biggest fear. And he would tell me, you'll take all the agents. And it happens. We see it all the time.
We do, all the time.
And I had to do it. I did it in a way that agents didn't even know what the heck I was doing. I didn't even know what I was doing. It was so under the radar. All because of gratitude.
Yeah, I get that 100%. And here you are,
And here I am.
the badass that you are. Nothing was going to stop that, right? Nothing was going to stop that. You started all over, and then you remained. You know, I mean, it's all about the international stuff, what you're doing today, and helping people all over, really the world. Because, as you said, you know, Latinos are all over the world.
Yes.
Right?
Latinos are all over the world. Yes. People don't understand that Latinos are in China, Hong Kong, Japan, London, England, United Kingdom, Dubai. We're all over. Germany, Italy. We're all over. So that's why when I went to Colombia and I started my expansion, I said, you know what? I can do this from Colombia to the world. But now I'm boots on the ground back in my local market, and I'm about to explode. I put together a Vision Builders 2023 event.
Yep. Yes, you did.
And that's my way of coming back and sharing with my community. I'm back. I'm here.
Talk to me about the event you've got coming up. Talk to me about Vision Builders.
So every year since 2015, I've done a vision board party, and I was thinking, I've learned to live intentionally. You know, I've learned to live intentionally. I've learned to live with premeditation, right? And so I said, okay, so now Colombia's up and running. What do I do now? Well, this is where I work, live, and play, right? Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Southwest Florida. And here we go again. That inner voice said, take the vision board thing out of your office to a huge venue and go out and find the frontline leaders that are going to show up and put on the biggest event you've ever done. You have ever done. So I rented out a 10,000 square foot venue. It's going to be unimaginable. The amazing part is that my friends love me. They believe in me. They trust me. They know me. And they're coming from New York. They're coming from Orlando. They're coming from Miami. They're coming from Sarasota. And we're going to fill up this amazing venue next Tuesday, the 31st. We're closing out the month with a huge collaborative effort. And it's for everyone in the community. And the icing on the cake is that it is 100% for charity. I adopted 3 charities that are working with the homeless, the hungry, and the addicted in my community.
God bless you.
And 100% of the proceeds are going to them. So that's my welcome back party. And the stage is going to be filled with people that are playing at huge levels. They get to take the limelight, not me.
That's fantastic. Congratulations on that. You know, as you've moved along, you've helped a lot of people. What has been the key for you? And what was, has there been one thing, has there been something that you've done along the way that has helped you grow and be able to either train, coach, or mentor people? And how have you done that?
So, you know, and that brings me to now. That brings me to where I am right now. When I started training out of desperation, because I'm like, I've got to get these people to produce. I mean, so I got to do something. When I started training out of desperation, and then I started mentoring them into production. And then I found that this information without implementation is useless. Now and I found that what I was doing was coaching them, which was showing them the how to do it. I always did it behind the 4 walls of my company. That was my safe haven. That was my comfort zone. I was the best kept secret. So after going through all this new discovery and reinvention of myself, I said, I need to take this out of the 4 walls and I need to dare to get out there. And that's what I set out to do last year. So last year in 2022, I said, I'm going to make this a maximum year of my life. I'm going to do it, you know, I'm going to do both, you know, Colombia and local market, but I am going to put myself through a journey of growth and learning. And I hired a coach, Eric Worre, and I learned so much. And that led me to other things, which was a certification with Tony Robbins at Date with Destiny. And then in October, because I said this year I am going to find everything I need to do this right. I showed up at EXPCon, and Success Coaching registration was open. And it was the opportunity to be able to take 125 years of Success Magazine, that organization with the exclusive partnership of Glenn Sanford, Success Magazine, and the Tony Robbins organization. And I joined Success Coaching. And this past Wednesday, I graduated as a certified success coach. And now I'm ready to go out and be that guiding light to realtors, brokers, team leaders, and business people that really want to take their life. You know, it's not just real estate. It's not just what we do. It's who we are that we need to redefine and repackage and relaunch. So that's what I'm going to do now.
Amazing. So as we move forward, I mean, this has been a great time, and I look forward to this for a long time when we finally got our timing together. What would you say to people such as yourself that have not had the opportunity to experience what you have? What would you say to them to do in order to come along your path and to be successful in the business the way you have?
You know, you need to have a discovery moment. And sometimes we can do that with ourselves. And sometimes we need someone to usher us into that moment of discovery. Because see, the thing is that we all get into business. I don't just want to say real estate because I don't want to limit myself to real estate, but we get into what we do, whether it's be a mom, be a dad, you know, be a realtor, a broker, a team leader, be a business owner, be a mortgage person. We get into doing what we do, but we never really answer three very pivotal questions. Who am I? Where do I come from? And where am I going? And until we don't have the answer to those questions, we are going to be on a rugged road in the rat race without feeling the satisfaction that life was meant to give us. We were born to have satisfaction in what we do, not just make money. It's not just about the money. The money is a tool. The money is awesome. It's a resource, but it's the satisfaction of what I do. Like I do what I do because of who I am. I now know who I am. I know where I come from, and I know where I'm going.
Amazing. That's great, Lucy. It's been a real pleasure to have a conversation with you today on Real Estate Talk TGIF. How do people get in touch with you if they want to work with you or get involved with you? What do they do? And also hire you as a success coach?
Just follow me. Let's start a conversation. You know, no strings attached. I'm not here to sell anyone on anything. I learned last year that I'm not in the business of convincing anyone to do anything. So let's just have a conversation. I love talking to people. I love sharing. I love giving. That's my spirit. I come from a spirit of giving. Just look me up, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Coach Lucy Q. I made it real easy.
Yeah.
So everybody can find me. Coach Lucy Q.
So as we finish up this broadcast, I have one main question that I ask people at the end of this broadcast, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. But this question is, how can I help you grow your business?
You already did. You gave me this invitation. You waited for me. And this morning I was thinking, life is so perfect that I got to get this invitation to announce my graduation, which I had not planned because I didn't know exactly when I would graduate from my certification. But here we are. So you already have. And I want to thank you. I admire you. I admire your consistency. I'm on 270 what? How many?
242, 239 in a row.
Oh my gosh.
239 weeks.
You are a trailblazer. You are a pace setter. I mean, I want to be you. So Dave. And I love your friendship. I admire you, and I value your friendship, and I value knowing that we've grown closer together. So thank you.
You're very welcome. And you know, we did take us a time. There wasn't. I want everybody to know there was no negotiation because I give a hat to everybody that joins the broadcast. And you're going to get a nice white one with the old logo on it, brand new white hat. I'm just looking forward to send this to you, and you're able to come on the broadcast today. So everybody, look, I want you to realize we got so much going on. We go from one badass this week to another badass next week. We have Sadie Caligari, who is she's also the founder of the Real Agent Society, but she is also partner of the Perna Group in Michigan. Just one heck of a badass. I've had the opportunity to work in an accountability group with her. Wonderful woman. You're going to see another female badass next week. I can't wait to have Sadie on. And you know what? Thank you again. Please stay on for a second, for a few minutes, if you would, Lucy, and then we'll be right back. Broadcast.